Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Today, the Ghana Statistical Service is releasing the Producer Price Index and the Producer Inflation for January 2026. Let me begin by explaining what this means in simple terms. The Producer Price Index, or PPI, measures the average change in the prices that producers receive when they sell their goods and services. These are factory gate prices. In other words, the prices businesses receive before products reach the shops and before the taxes and other charges are added. We look at inflation in two main ways. First, year-on-year inflation. This compares prices in January 2026 to prices in January 2025. This tells us how much prices have changed over 1 year. Second, month-on-month inflation. This compares January 2026 prices to that of December 2025. It shows short-term price movements from 1 month to the next. Now, here are the headline numbers. The Producer Price Index increased to 274.9 in January 2026, up from 266.0 in December 2025 and 270.6 in January 2025. This translates into a year-on-year producer inflation for January 2026 of 1.6%. This means that, on average, producers received 1.6% more for their goods and services than they did in January last year. This rate is slightly lower than the 1.9% recorded in December 2025. It is also lower than the rate of 28.5% recorded in January 2025. However, on a month-on-month basis, producer prices increased by 3.3% between December 2025 and January 2026. So while annual inflation is moderate, short-term price pressures increase in January. Let us look at the sectors. Mining and quarrying recorded 3.7% year-on-year inflation, compared to 3.3% recorded in December 2025. On month-on-month basis, mining and quarrying prices increased by 7.0% between December 2025 and January 2026. This sector carries the largest weight in the index, about 43.7%, so movements here matter a lot. Manufacturing recorded negative 2.2% inflation. That means average factory prices in manufacturing were lower by 2.2% than a year ago. Average prices in manufacturing also reduced by 0.4% between December 2025 and January 2026. Given that manufacturing carries a large weight of 35% of the index, the year-on-year deflation helped bring overall producer inflation down. Electricity and gas recorded 14.8% inflation, up from 6.1% recorded in December 2025, while water supply and waste management recorded 9.9% in January 2026, compared to the 2.3% recorded in December 2025. Both items recorded month-on-month inflation in excess of 7%. On the services side, we have transport and storage, whose cost declined further to negative 6.9%, and accommodation and food inflation, which recorded negative 5.4%. Their prices also reduced between December 2025 and January 2026. So what is driving producer inflation in January? The main upward pressure is coming from mining and quarrying, electricity and gas, and water supply, sewerage, and waste management. At the same time, manufacturing, transport and storage, and accommodation and food services are helping to moderate overall annual producer inflation. What does this mean for stakeholders? For households, focus spending on goods and services with more stable prices. For businesses, especially those using manufactured inputs, consider medium-term supply agreements while remaining cautious about passing on short-term price increases. For policymakers, monitor the strong month-on-month increases closely to prevent renewed inflationary pressure while sustaining stability in fuel supply and logistics. Let me conclude. We express our sincere appreciation to market players who provide timely price data to our data users and partners who rely on these statistics, and to the hard-working staff of the Ghana Statistical Service whose professionalism makes this release possible. At the Ghana Statistical Service, we remain committed to providing timely, accurate, relevant, and credible statistics to support evidence-based decision-making for Ghana's development. Thank you very much.